Good afternoon, everybody. Let me just thank you all for being with us. Just wanted to start off with a few introductions real quick. I just want to, first of all, thank Director Stallings and the Georgia Emergency Management Agency team. He'll be making remarks shortly after me, but just appreciate what they've been doing with the state-local coordination and our response. Our Agriculture Commissioner, Tyler Harper, and the team at the Department of Agriculture, they've been on the ground for 2 days down here doing assessments and other things, and we appreciate his partnership. Our Insurance Commissioner, John King, and both Tyler and John will have some brief remarks when Director Stallings finishes up to give you an update on a few things on their end. I want to thank the Georgia Department of Public Safety and certainly our State Patrol, who's been responding literally as the storm was coming through. I want to thank the Georgia National Guard, the Georgia Department of Transportation, Department of Natural Resources, Georgia Forestry Commission. I know Director Tim Lauermore is here with us this afternoon. All of them have been responding to the storm, chainsaw strike teams and other things, so I appreciate their hard work over the last few days. And obviously with all the local folks, I want to thank Mayor Matheson, Chairman Slaughter, the members of the commission and the city council that are standing with us today, and their teams. We went through the emergency operations center and visited with a lot of the first responders, fire, EMTs, the county folks that's working with GEMA on response, and Red Cross, just tons of people that are in there. And it was unbelievable, just unbelievable hearing them talk about the coordination that we've been seeing between the state and the locals and how the community has been pitching in. So I just want to thank the mayor and the chairman for their leadership and their teams and really all the local elected officials that have been engaged. I want to especially thank Kim Green and the entire Georgia Power team, as well as Dennis Chastain, the president and CEO of Georgia EMCs. Our response to the devastation that we've seen with the loss of power, the number of lines that were knocked down because of obviously a lot of trees down, has been stellar. We still have a lot of work to do. One of the things that we're dealing with this storm, most people around the country don't realize this storm was on the ground and went through a longer path than it did in Florida or South Carolina. So we're dealing with a much bigger area, even though this was a narrower storm, and it hit in rural Georgia, which there's good things about that and there's bad things about that. It's bad because we've seen a lot of ag damage. It was good because we've only unfortunately had one loss of life in this storm, and our thoughts and prayers go out to their family and the rest of those Georgians that have been affected by this storm. But also, when you're dealing with storms like this in rural Georgia and trees are coming down, you have houses and meters and lots of power lines that are running in rural parts of the state. It's very hard to get to when you got a lot of trees across the road. So it's taken us a lot of time just to be able to even get the bucket trucks and the personnel in to maybe simply flip a switch on a transformer or on a power pole to get power back up. So I cannot thank our private sector partners that have been engaged from day one. That includes our rural water folks as well. I also want to just thank the members of the General Assembly that every year supports all these different state agencies and allows us to have the resources that we need and the equipment that we need to respond to things like this. Senator Russ Goodman is here with us, Representative Chaz Cannon, Representative John LaHood, Representative John Corbett, Representative Derek Sharper, and Representative James Burchett are all here with us today. And I just want to thank you on behalf of the greatest First Lady in the country, Marty Kemp, and I, for your leadership. And our First Lady is something to see her hugging folks and supporting them in a time of need, and it's great to have her with us today. Earlier today, just a couple hours ago now, I officially requested federal disaster assistance from FEMA. This will allow us to start individual damage requests. I want to stress that damage assessments are taking longer due to, as I mentioned, Idalia taking longer to move through our state than any other state during this storm. So we wanted to make sure we got our assessments right and that they were thorough and that we're fighting for every resource that we can get for the local communities. But we have requested that now. I want to again thank Director Stallings and his team for their quick work and also diligent work to get that done. But we are in this fight with this local community and the rest of them that were affected by the storm for the duration. We still have a lot of work to do, and we're going to be here and help get it done. So I just want to thank you all for being here. Let you know that our biggest concerns continue to be getting roads cleared so we can get our power company personnel to the places they need to be to get power back on. We still have a few water issues that are mainly because we don't have power to those water systems, and we are working hard to alleviate that. We started this storm at the height as it went through with about 277,000 households and businesses without power. We've whittled that down to about 70,000 now, so we're making good progress, and you'll continue to see those numbers move well into the night tonight and throughout the weekend. And to give us a update on the GEMA side of things will be Director Stallings, and then he'll turn it over to Commissioner King and Commissioner Harper to give you an insurance and an ag update. So Chris.
Thank you, Governor Kemp and First Lady, for your support as always, being down here today to help us tour and see some of the damage. As the Governor mentioned, we are doing the federal declaration. What that means for us and for you now is that our team is going out and we're going to start assessments with FEMA. Don't be shocked if you start seeing their trucks show up real soon. But the biggest thing is that we wanted to make sure we had what your community needs. So one of the things that we've asked them to do is do an expedited or an immediate and emergency individual assistance program. We understand that businesses and power lines and things like that need to be replaced, but you as individual citizens also need to be recovered. And so that's the first thing we've asked FEMA to turn on. They'll come in with that individual assistance program and begin the process of working with families at their point of need. Over the next few days, they'll be showing up, as well as the public assistance team. As the Governor mentioned, this is a long-track tornado in our state. So we had a lot of damage. At this point, we've got estimates of about $35 million, and it's growing. So we know we've got the damage to support the request. As I mentioned to the Governor earlier in conversation, the thing that we want to remind everybody is the only thing fast that happens in these is the storm itself. The recovery takes a while. It takes a while to get resources in. It takes a while for that. And I know sometimes it's frustrating with the response, but trust us, we're here with you. We're going to be here for you. We're not leaving, and I hate to say it, but we're not leaving when the media does. We're here with you for the long haul. So we're going to be here for you to support you and see you recover. And thirdly, I just want to say this. The support that you've got from your locals, I hope you do not forget that. In the middle of the storm, they left their houses, they left their homes that were being devastated by this same storm to go save you and your family. So please make sure when you see your first responders, your emergency management personnel, those folks that were out there in the height of the storm, make sure you stop and say thank you, because they walked away from their family to make sure they took care of yours. Thank you for being here today and recognizing the fact that it is a neighborhood, a community effort to recover. As the Governor highlighted some of those points, we're here to help you. We're going to see you through it, and we're here to support you. With that, another extremely important part of it is our insurance. So I'll turn it over to Insurance Commissioner John King. Sir?
Well, thank you all so much. My name is John King. I'm your Insurance and Safety Fire Commissioner for the great state of Georgia. And I'll tell you, our folks have been here on the ground, but like Director Stallings and Governor Kemp said, the plan begins with the talent. You have an incredible amount of talent here locally in Lowndes County. And so it's easy to come in and pile in on top of that. You've seen our agents out there working very closely with the Sheriff's Office, with the Police Department, going into the areas that have been affected. First of all, to make sure that we go and provide assistance, to make sure that we are helping folks if they're trapped, but also making sure that we keep the fraudsters out of this community. And I know we're already getting some reports of that, so we're already working hard. On Monday, you will see the insurance commissioner we're going to be bringing in what we call a claims village. It's going to be going to on Norman Street at the Home Depot. And we're bringing in insurance companies to go and set up there so people can come in and start their process of getting their claims processed. And so be looking after that, and we appreciate if we can get, folks that have potential claims or they just have any questions about this process to come and talk to us. We'll be standing by ready to assist. Thank you all so much for the opportunity, and I'll turn it over to our great Ag Commissioner, Tyler Harper.
Well, good afternoon. Governor, first off, I want to say thank you to you, your team, GEMA, Director Stallings, and the work that y'all are doing. As many of you know, agriculture is our #1 industry in this state. It impacts every Georgian every single day. Food, fiber, and shelter are vital, important components about what we do in the state. So anytime we have a natural disaster in a storm, it impacts our #1 industry. And this storm is no different. So our team has been involved at the department since day one. We've been in the operations center. We've been on the ground since yesterday assessing the damage related to agriculture and working with your local folks here, not only here in Lowndes County, but the surrounding communities. So to the mayors, the chairmans, our sheriff departments, all of you, our public works, thank you all for what y'all are doing. The work that you're doing on the local level, it is vital, it is important in our partnership in ensuring we understand the full impact of where we are. In the impact zone for the Department of Agriculture, there are a little over 13,000 businesses and farms and operations that we're involved with that are in the impact zone of this specific hurricane. Obviously, our team is reaching out to those to ensure and assess the damages that those particular operations have sustained. That's everything from convenience stores to gas stations to grocery stores to meat processing facilities to our farms, our family farms and operations, our livestock and poultry facilities, as well as our animal shelters across the state. Those are all those operations that we're working with to ensure that we know where they are. We're working to assess that damage from the most impacted area out. We are obviously early in the assessment process, and we're going to work to ensure that we understand what those needs are. Just to kind of give you an update, I was on the ground yesterday taking a first-hand look at the damage myself. And where we are. The pecan crop in the state of Georgia, in this part of the state, in the impacted zone, I want to be clear, this is in the impacted zone, took a significant hit during the storm. We're probably 50 to 60+% loss of this year's pecan crop in the impacted zone, upwards of 20-25% loss of pecan trees in the impacted zone. The tobacco and the corn crop that were still in the field, most of that had been harvested, but that was left in the field is probably all gone and unable to be harvested. Just like the governor said, we've got other operations on significant power. All of these ag operations are utilizing generators to keep their barns operational, to keep their produce operational, facilities operational. So I want to say thank you to Georgia Power and EMC for the work y'all are doing to help get our farms back online too, because it's just as vital so they don't lose their crop. Number of poultry houses that sustained a lot of damage in the area. Obviously our dairies and our swine operations as well. I think my message to our producers is document and report. Take pictures, ensure that you're documenting, you're getting that information to the appropriate folks. We're working with FSA, USDA, FSA, UGA Extension to ensure that the appropriate message is getting across. And we have an email set up. It is Idalia or Idalia or whatever this hurricane is called. I'm an Idalia guy because of Idalia, Georgia. So Idalia is what I call it, just like the governor does. But it's idalia@agr.georgia.gov. Please send us your damage and your assessment. We will ensure to help you get that to where it needs to be. Just one other thing I think that's a vital information, working with our state veterinarian, we have suspended all animal entry requirements into the state of Georgia through the end of September to help anybody out of the state of Florida and vice versa to ensure that our animals are taken care of. So I think that's important. Obviously, we're going to continue to assess this damage. It's important that we continue to document. We're working on an online form to be putting up live to make that a little bit easier at the department. But again, I think all the local partners, our state partners, our governor and GEMA and the work that they're doing, and we're here to be a partner to ensure our #1 industry continues to be successful. I'll turn it back over to the governor.
Great. Well, thank you, Commissioner. Let me just also thank Sheriff Ashley Paulk and his team for being here. I want to thank our nonprofit partners out there, Salvation Army. I know we saw some Red Cross folks earlier, our faith-based communities that are responding to storm just like they do to other storms that we've had in our state in the past. We're very grateful for you all and appreciate you. God bless you. And with that, we'll open it up for questions. Yes.
Governor Kemp, Christopher King, Fox 5 News. How extensive was the damage that you saw, and what goes through your mind when you think about the impact it's having to people down here?
Well, I've seen a lot of really horrific pictures. We were supposed to get up in the helicopter today to fly several counties, but because of the weather we couldn't do that. But I mean, we've been getting reports for the last 2 days about the devastation. I mean, I know a lot of people in Valdosta and have for a very long time, and people here, many of them telling me this is the worst storm they've ever seen in their lifetime. I think the thing that's interesting is, if you're in most parts of our state or most parts of the southeast, this storm just didn't affect you. But if you were in the path of this hurricane, it was devastating for places like Valdosta and Eccles County and Berrien County and cities like Idalia and Cook County and Nashville and others. So we know that devastation. I guarantee you the power company and EMC personnel and all of our first responders, our chainsaw crews that are still cutting trees out there, they know the devastation that we have seen. So we're thankful this storm was narrow. We are thankful that this storm was fast moving. But we are not thankful that we had a hurricane in the state of Georgia. most of the time, other than Michael, when we get hit, it's normally downgraded to tropical storms and not a Cat 1 or Cat 2 hurricane like we saw come through the state of Georgia. So we know what you folks are dealing with, and as Director Stallings said, we're going to be here to help you deal with it as long as it takes. Okay. Yes.
Joshua Stenner, Atlanta News First. Have other states reached out to offer any help or resources with this recovery effort?
Well, look, at this point, I know Florida's dealing with their damage, and South Carolina is too. I mean, Director Stallings may could speak further to that. I don't know that we've asked anybody for any help. I mean, we've got a lot of resources here. We had a lot of resources available because this was a narrow storm. And so I feel like we're in really good shape there. If we need something, we can ask. I mean, listen, we have tons of resources available with the Georgia National Guard that we didn't call up because we just didn't want them to. I mean, if you get too many people responding to a certain area, it becomes counterproductive. So if somebody's asking Director Stallings or myself for a resource, we'll get it. But I don't know that we're getting those asks. Chris, I don't know if you want to.
I was just going to simply say every southeastern state has reached out and offered their assistance if needed, so we're very appreciative of that.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you guys for being with us, and let me just close with, I know the chairman and the mayor and Director Stallings, the rest of our folks were talking about this earlier about just. We know that it's easy to get impatient. We know that people that don't have power, they want it on right now. I would be in that boat too, but it just takes time for us to get to these lines, to get trees cleared. We are working, and our private sector partners are working as hard as they can. We are working 24/7, and we'll continue to do that. But this damage is spread out, and our power damage is spread out, so it's going to take us a little bit of time, but just know that we are working as hard as we can, and just we would ask you all to be patient and just let us know if there's things that you need when you're potentially without power or without water. We can help with shelter and providing water and food and other things. We can coordinate that. Just let us know. But we would just urge your patience and just know that we will be here till we get the job done. So thank you all for being with us.